So at this moment you can see, like I said, this is my high poly mesh. At the bottom here it says it's got like 55,000 faces and 110,000 tries. Okay, now that's normally double the amount because tries, if you take a square and you cut it in half, it's two pieces. So that's why it's normally double, but I want to go lower. I actually want to make it maybe like 10,000 tries. Let's say roughly 10,000 tries, then I will be happy. That will be an enormous improvement on my mesh. So first of all, when we work in Substance Painter, for me, there are some settings there, but I will show you when we get to Substance Painter. But for now, I want to show that you can call the object, you can call it the name you want, then underscore high. The underscore high is really important for Substance Painter to know which one is the high mesh and which one is the low mesh. So this is our high currently. So we're just going to duplicate it so that we can make a low poly out of it. Just right click to put it back in place. It's now two stuck on each other. There's two meshes there at the moment. Just hide this one for now, that we can only work with this one. So like I said, your naming, the underscore is important for Substance Painter, so this one has to be low. But later in, when we go to Substance Painter, I will explain, or it will make more sense. The underscore high and the underscore low. Okay, then I want to start by breaking it down to a lower amount here. So we add a modifier. We can start with a remesh modifier. I think that's good for now, just to make it one mesh. So what has it done is it takes all the sandbags, because it was actually individual sandbags. You can see it's close in here. It's solid. It's actually individual sandbags. Let's go in edit mode. Just want to link one. There you can see it's one bag. It has bottom faces and also top faces. So when we go back to object mode and just want to show this one again, here you can see everything is now one mesh. So that's what we want. We can apply it. And then what I also just want to do, sometimes these bumps here in the middle, sometimes when we go a little bit higher, this will give me some problems. Maybe in this example it won't give me a problem, but I'm just gonna do it because I don't want to do it again. So I just want to smooth this out. Just go to sculpting mode, do the smooth brush down here, and just want to smooth this down so that I don't get that unnecessary artifacts later. Like I said, sometimes it's actually not, maybe it's just an extra step I'm doing, but sometimes it helps. Just to not to worry about damaging the shape too much, because we're gonna shrink wrap it. And as soon as we shrink wrap it, it will get its shape back again. Oh, goes like that. Okay, I'm quite happy. It looks okay. So just going back to object mode. And now I'm gonna add a modifier again. This time a deform modifier. I'm going to use a shrink wrap, and also again the remesh modifier. Okay. So this time I want to use the high poly mesh as my base model. So the shrink wrap, just for those who don't know, the shrink wrap is when you take a cloth, for example, in real life, and you wrap it around, or a better example, like when you want to take a cloth and put it around something and you tight it. So when you tight it, it gets the shape of the other one. It's just to help with the for the shape to keep in touch. So the target mode, I want to use the low poly mesh as we're going to the high poly mesh, and there you see it kind of makes it a little bit more. Sometimes it, let's see, that one. That one is a little bit better. So I want to just bump up my mesh for this one, just to this other way around, 0.08, just to get that finer detail. Everything is right. The offset, just want to see if I put it up again. Offset, yeah. Let's go for outside. I just want to see if I'm getting better results here. Sometimes you have to move these things up and down, see which one will give you the better results, so that you can be happy with your results. So you just have to play a little bit around above surface. Now I think I'm going to go for outside, so you can play around. You want the most definitions with the lowest poly, if it makes sense. And I'm quite happy. I'm just going to bump it a little bit more. As you can see, we increased the faces now at the moment, but it's just to get that base mesh as close as possible to the original mesh, so we can get a much better shape. Then we can also maybe put on the smooth shading, so that now I'm happy with the results. I'm going to apply and apply. So now to break it more down, again I will just add a shrink wrap again, but this time I want the shrink wrap on top. So first a shrink wrap, and then second there I want to use a display. Not a displace, sorry for that one. I want to use a decimate. Where's the decimate? There it is, decimate modifier. So what this one is doing is it's going to make all the quads triangulates. So you're going to get much less triangles for the quads that you have. So this will make sense now. Again, I just want to add that it can get its shape back to the original one. And then let's start to lower this one by 0.5. As you will see down here, at the moment we've got that 110 tries again. Now we've got 55. Much better. Just want to see if I make it like this. No, it's not going to make too much of a difference. But I want to go much more lower. Maybe you want to go for 0.2. 0.1. I think I'm gonna break it slowly down. No, 0.1 is actually not bad. Quite happy with my result. Doesn't look that bad. Let's see. Yeah, now I'm gonna leave it like it was, standard. And like I said, sometimes when you change these things it helps. But for this case I'm quite happy with the result. It's not too bad. Actually it looks quite nice. So again, when you apply, just remember to apply from the top. You can just apply. Okay, quite happy with the results. Inside you will see we may have these things again, but it's not that bad. It's sometimes if I haven't make it smooth, it will go like it will make weird stuff inside. And actually the people that's doing this in much more detail will actually also delete these bottom faces, because you won't even be able to see this. But for my purpose, I like it like that. It's not to worry too much. So yeah, then we can use the smooth. There's some places I'm not quite happy with the results, like these ones. It's not looking too good. So I just want to use the sculpting now, just make the brush a little smaller. I just want to see if I can smooth this out. And also these ones. just check out for these artifacts. And sometimes it means that your lines, the polys, or I'm going to show you now what's that. These vertices, the vertex is not correctly lined. So inside, you will see it's going over here. There's something there that if you move it up, you'll get rid of those bad shadings. So just check out for those things too. You don't have those bad looking shading problems. I think there is shading problems too. So this is a little bit time consuming, but you have to make it correct. You don't have too much problems with the shadings. I also have shading problems here. I press just G just to move it around so that I lose that bad shadings that I'm getting there. And also here. Like that. It's just bad bending. So that's why we get those bad artifacts or shading problems. We also have problems here. Just move it around that we get rid of those ones. You can also maybe use the smooth brush if you want sculpting. Sometimes that helps too, if you want to do it like that. It's maybe a faster way, but sometimes just be careful that you don't make it too smooth, otherwise you're going to lose your shape. And we don't want to actually lose our shape. Of course we want to have some detail. That's a way. Yes, you see here is also one. This is going to be a problem as well. Okay, we fix that one. I think that's okay. Just want to fix there. Also here, gotcha. Okay, I think that looks okay. Quite happy with the results. If I put in more effort, I will get better results, but this is just a demonstration video, so I'm not gonna put too much effort. Sometimes this might take up to half an hour, 45 minutes just to get it right, to get the lowest poly count or the face counts with the best detail as possible. But like I said, I'm not too worried about too much for this video. It's just to show you quickly my workaround. But yeah, these things is annoying. I don't like it. So I just wanna fix it a little bit quickly, quick fix. Because you want your work to look nice. Bad shadings there. But you see, if I make it too smooth, that we're gonna start losing shape. And that's also something you don't want to do too much. Like I said, your shape is actually important. You don't want to lose too much shape. So just check that out. So let's just leave it like that. Otherwise I'm gonna waste too much time around that. Go back to object mode. So the next step is you must just remember to do the unwrap, otherwise it's not going to be correct. For this one I'm just going to do it plain and simple. Sometimes you can also use a lot of time spending. You can also, this is also really time consuming. But I'm just gonna select all the faces with A and then press U, or you can go here by UV and then Smart UV Project. Normally this is the settings you will go for, and say unwrap. Quite happy with the results. What you can do is, if you want to go a little bit more, you can go to this button here, UV stretches. And just make sure that you don't have too much stretches somewhere, because these ones is getting a little bit more stretch, but it's not too bad. You can spend a little bit more time here if you want, but normally this will be fine. So I just want to turn that on off again. So my UV is correct. I'm happy with. Okay, so I just want to continue. I see previous recording it didn't show the export, so I just want to export it again. I want to export the sandbag low. So first of all, we're going to export the selected object as a FBX. Here I'm gonna just name it the sandbag low. This is for the previous one. Like I said, this window didn't show up in the recording. The selected objects, you want to click the selected objects, mesh, and then all these settings, apply transformation for if there was any modifiers applied to the object that you haven't applied to it yet, and then you can just disable this animation because there is no animation. It's just the object, plain object, so just want to replace it with that one, override, and there you go. So I will see you in Substance Painter next.